I used to hate tea. As an undiagnosed neurodivergent person, coffee was my stimulant of choice for quite literally most of my life. I can remember stealing cups of that delicious ambrosia from church as a wee child. I guzzled it as a teen, and I lived off of it in college and after. And it wasn't until a doctor told me that the 3 extra large cold brews I was drinking a day to get through working 3 to 4 jobs and volunteering for 2 organizations was probably going to kill me that I ever questioned my need for speed. I mean caffeine. Don't get me wrong, this is not me trashing coffee. I love coffee. But a few years ago, when I eventually left my coffee making job, I found I'd lost my taste for it. I couldn't finish a cup. It didn't warm and soothe me the way it had before. It didn't even taste good anymore. It's weird to grieve a beverage, but it of course wasn't just a beverage. It was an identity, a way of being. I loved coffee. I needed coffee. Coffee enabled the life I lived, and without it, I didn't know how to function. And then it was gone. Before all this, I had started to take a very small liking to tea. Just one kind, and late at night while I was writing, and with entirely too much honey. It became a ritual, one I found grounding and calming. So by the time coffee lost its appeal, I was open to trading my Zoom Zoom juice for leaf juice. And it turned out I really loved tea, all kinds of tea, herbal and caffeinated. I loved mixing teas. I loved walking into a shop and finding that they had a wide variety of tea to choose from. It turns out I loved tea. It took me a while to realize that this transition from coffee fanatic to tea enjoyer was mirroring an internal transition I was also experiencing. I was chronically exhausted. I was mentally spent, emotionally numb, and physically drained. It felt like I was always running a million miles a minute and could absolutely never, ever, ever slow down. And I had enough of it. Words like gentle, calm, quiet became a balm. I wanted candlelight and slow mornings, cozy sweaters and rainy days, long, lingering dinners on lazy summer nights. I wanted to read books and clean my kitchen and make art and just breathe. And tea. I wanted giant mugs of piping hot, too sweet tea. I wanted tall, sweating glasses of crisp iced tea. I did not want to zoom through my life. I wanted to gently pick the leaves I consumed. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't figure out how to create that slow, gentle way of living I was yearning for. Last year, my life took several unexpected turns that resulted in what felt like a never ending series of misfortune and grief. And as more and more of that grief piled up, as each new loss left me desperate to catch my breath, I felt that yearning for a different way of living start to bubble up again. like some dam I had carefully constructed without even realizing was threatening to break and wipe out everything I knew and loved. It felt alive, like my longing had become a living thing fighting to break out of the cage in my chest. Sometimes I feel like it would be so easy to let it. Because I think I know deep down that letting that dam break is the answer to the pain points in my life. It's the thing I have to let happen if I want to be able to build the kind of future I want, to make the kind of art I think I was meant to make. But I can't seem to let go. The thought terrifies me. It feels like chaos and uncertainty and spinning out of control. And God, yes, I want that, but dear God, I am so scared of that. After all, I'm a product of my Protestant, individualist, living in late stage capitalism upbringing. I have to earn worth and value and rest. I have to produce and contribute and go, 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 because otherwise I'll be left behind. I'll never be successful. I'll never amount to anything. And once I prove that I can do it all, then finally I'll get to live the life that feels worth living. Because right now I can't afford to. I'm so far behind and there's so much to do and too much to heal, and it's taking too long. I don't want to leave this earth without doing something to make it better, without leaving some kind of mark behind. So I have to hurry, hurry, hurry. There's no time to waste. But when I make a cup of tea, when I sit down and slowly sip it, when I stop my zooming and actually watch and listen to the world around me, everything is so slow. The sun takes its time. The grass grows as it likes. Flowers bloom slowly. Birds sit and watch the sky. And none of that feels like being out of control. But it does feel like letting go of control. It feels like losing myself. Except the things I love doing and feel drawn to are all things that take time. They're things that require slow and steady work, and I've spent my life constantly frustrated by them. I'm frustrated by what they require from me, that their outcomes are only satisfying when I take my time. So I never give myself over to them entirely because I can't afford to go that slow. But I'm starting to wonder if the thing that I love most about those things is the fact that they require me to take my time. What if that's what the longing in me has been trying to say? That I love these things because they cost me something that's hard to give away. And I know deep down they're worth that cost, that I'm worth that cost. I do have a lot of dreams. There is so much I want to do with this one life I have. I want to write books and I want to make beautiful art and I want to learn new skills and I want to run that business and I want to build a life I love, one that I'm proud of, one that puts beautiful, meaningful things back into the world. And what if the only way to actually do all that is to go slow, to take my time, to stop rushing and zooming through my days, weeks, months, years? Maybe I feel behind because I've been rushing through the parts that need time to grow and take root. Going slow still terrifies me, but the more I try and practice it, the more I remember that to make the world a more beautiful place, I have to stop and recognize the beauty that already exists. I have to let things sit and stew and simmer and take their time. And I can't do that if I'm running for my life, or rather, running from a life worth living, the one that I want to be living anyway, one that is gentle and soft and calm and full of beauty. And maybe none of this is terribly profound. but it is so hard for me. It sometimes feels like an internal battle, and I'm always fighting to stay in control. But I don't even want to be in control. So I'm trying to practice slowness in small ways, taking my time to finish projects, doing small tasks that feel annoying but do make my life better, making something just for the joy of using my hands, starting things that will take time to make them the way I want them to. Because yes, there is so much I want to do, but so far, rushing hasn't worked. So maybe it's time to finally get started and go slow. I really love tea now. In fact, the other day, my little sister was watching me make my nightly cup and said, "Remember when you hated tea? That's so weird. It's so not you." And her boyfriend, who was standing next to her at the time, laughed and said, "Wait, there was a time you didn't like tea?" But the funniest part is that now these days, my coffee tastes better too. And maybe that's because I'm finally just tasting it for the first time. And maybe that means that going slow doesn't actually mean I'll lose anything. Maybe going slow is how I become the most honest and authentic version of myself. Maybe it means actually enjoying the things I already love. And maybe it means becoming someone I already love.